we live on anything?
So we're live, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
We're live on Insta, yeah? Yes, Insta.
Live on the Insta. Alright, cool. Old type the Insta viewers, grown-ass man, you know. Man. You know what you're thinking about yourself? No, I'm joking.
Selfish vibes, man.
Yeah, we're just setting up.
Cool, I think we're going live on Facebook now. Just check that out. You can see what's what.
This is very warm.
YouTube. You know, no, Facebook. That one.
YouTube's
That
really
really done.
That high top.
It's calling your eyes up.
Perfect.
No, it's not calling your eyes up. Did you take it out?
Does this light not
Boom.
Can
Man, go,
this
bro.
light not turn
Right.
straight?
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got no purpose over there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, that's much better.
Was that the inspiration?
Was what inspiration?
Oh.
You're an idiot, innit? But he's in an army with a green. And you put that
Oh
on.
snap! I see it.
Yeah,
Man.
man,
I'm
go.
sorry. That still. Them ones.
Alright, let's do this, man.
Yeah, you know he smashed it.
Yeah.
No key.
Right, I think we are on. Yep.
On.
You're not finished.
Yeah,
right?
people, if you're not in on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Facebook, send us a little message, let us know that we're live and that you can hear us, and all of that. Ah, that's annoying me though. That needs to be punched over a little piece still.
What rank is this?
It's over. Whatever.
Let's go.
Let me see.
Which
Right,
one?
Shantae, we're live, guys.
Great.
Yeah.
This one.
Hold on. I need it to be more, a little bit to my. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's just them little things there, man. Alright, cool. I think let me just get obviously ready for the Facebook people then. That sounds so bad, doesn't it? Facebook people. They ain't got no mums and dads. Shout out to people who ain't got no mums and dads, because there are some out there still.
Wow, so this guy is just.
That's what I said to you.
He's waffling, isn't it?
That's what I said to you.
It's okay. So you don't want to shout at them people, no?
No, sorry, that's on you. Pick up, innit?
Let's get started.
Oh, now you want to big them up.
You're in your
Try your mind.
No, it's cool, man. Stay in your happy place, man.
Yes, leave me in my happy place. 2018, it's the first show back as well, man.
Yeah, big up yourselves.
Right. let me
Yes. Belated Happy New Year to all you people and all of that.
Just trying to get to my Facebook, bro. Right. Yes, I think we are definitely not ready to start.
I said definitely not ready to start.
I got the right to change my mind.
You saying viewers? We got the viewers.
Yeah, people are locked in. We've got Shantae there. Right, I am getting on. As soon as I know how to work this thing there, man. Right. Let's get that down. Right, let's get the show started, man. Simone, hi guys, she says. What's going on, Simone? Right, let's start the show off right, man. How do I start the show off?
Oh yeah.
Alright, grown-ups in the building, make some noise! We are back, 2018. Let's introduce who we got inside, man. Man with the cap, what's your name, bro?
Man with the cap. Darren. You know how it is, man. You know how it is. When we see the cap, it's me, man. It's Darren.
Yo, what's going on, people? Rakes, what's good?
You already know it is the Pan-African, aka Dwayne.
What's good, people? You got myself, Craig, the host of the show. Let's kind of kick this thing off. I hope everyone has been watching the memes and the things that we put out on the Instagram and on Facebook. Because we're going to talk about marriage today, yeah? And in particular, when we kind of thought about this subject, it was kind of brought up that society these days, everyone's kind of on marriage. Yeah, let's get married, innit? And I don't think a lot of people of this day and age consider the trials and tribulations that marriage brings, the commitment that it actually is. It's more of a status thing, innit? Yeah, like, I got a ring, innit? Yeah, he paid grands, innit? Yeah, white, gold, platinum, what? All that bollocks, man. Or hundreds, yeah, for real, or hundreds.
It shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter. But to some people of this day and age, that is more important than the actual, not the process of marriage, but the longevity of marriage. Or people focus a lot on the actual wedding day. It's got to be that day, I got to have this dress. And then you're broke for the next 10 years. Like, because you've done this whole big day for other people as well, to be fair. I'm on a rant. I sound like I'm ranting. I'm not unhappy about marriage. Marriage is a beautiful thing. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
So what you're saying about the reason why we came up with the topic and all of that, and one of the reasons I really wanted to do the topic was, although I'm not kind of on that track myself, the group as a whole is a marriage orientated group kind of thing. So you know, you got two married men, you got a man that's engaged. Like and I've kind of felt like it would be good to promote in society that there are black men that are in serious relationships, are about the longevity, are about, trying to go down the road of, marrying their woman and, kind of building a partnership. I don't really feel like, although you say everyone's on marriage, I don't feel like it is promoted enough within our society personally.
Serious?
Do you think it needs to be? Like, what about marriage? Why does it need to be promoted?
All right.
Does it mean you're not in a serious relationship if you're not married?
No, and by all means that's not what I'm saying, but it helps highlight that. I don't believe marriage is the be all and end all, and that is the only way to promote successful marriages, successful relationships. But it is a way to help highlight it when you say I'm married, or when you talk about marriage, because just talking about a relationship doesn't always hit the right notes with people. And when I say people, marriage isn't about pleasing everyone, but when we're talking about youngsters coming up and the recklessness that they're going on with nowadays, I'd like to promote something more positive.
But I think that is part of the problem, Riggs, that people look at marriages, that means that you're serious. Not necessarily, it doesn't. You can get married. It doesn't. The way things are set up, it doesn't mean it's people get married and get divorced. People get married and get divorced. Some people have 3-4 marriages. So it doesn't really mean that. It's down to the individual how serious they are in a relationship. Marriage, the title itself, doesn't carry anything. It's you as a couple and what you believe is a suitable relationship for yourself.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Hey, Mr. Engagement, what are you saying, fam?
I agree with that, because I think, but on the flip side, yeah. All right, so if you go back to, like, I don't know, our grandparents' era, generation, it wasn't a dumb thing to get married and then divorce. Do you know what I mean? But then I asked myself, how many unhappy women were there who stayed in marriages, or men that stayed in marriages, stayed in a relationship because of the fact that they didn't want to get divorced? Do you know what I mean? For the sake of other people, and stayed in relationships which they knew they weren't really happy. Do you know what I mean? So
that's a good point. That is a good point.
So it can work other ways. We can say now that people are getting married for status and for people, but back then people were not getting divorced when maybe they should have done for status.
How unhappy were they? We do hear stories of people that are unhappy, but how unhappy are they? Do you know what I mean? Like, for you to actually rock it out, you can't be that.
Nah, but you have to understand. You have to understand the mentality of that day and age was different, because some people. I do and I don't. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you why. Yeah. Let me tell you why. You know, you got to buy yourself time things. But but let me tell you why. It was a thing of, like, certain people didn't want to come out of something because it might bring shame. Do you understand what I mean? Or embarrassment. They didn't want to kind of go through that. What's that person going to say? What's that person going to say? Because there are people who I rate who are together, and I've seen with my own eyes. Still to this day, they don't even like each other.
Yeah, that's all left, isn't it? They
don't even like each other, but they stay together.
I don't rate it.
No, I can't rate it.
But this is what I'm saying. The reason why I say I do rate it, because it's the great good. You've got to look at the family that they've created.
The dynamics.
Do you understand what I mean? So I give it rating, but at the same time, if you're going to be unhappy, you shouldn't be in something that's either toxic or, especially if you don't even like the person you're lying next to.
That's different. That's when they start sleeping in separate rooms, then you got an issue.
Yeah. Listen,
that's an issue. But for me,
when the single bed life comes, I'll tell you my babe right now, I'm out. Yeah, sleeping in single bed, I'm out.
I'm not down with
I'm with you. That is fronting, but for me, I like the fact that they stuck through thick and thin. Yes, some of them have gone to the extreme and sleeping in separate beds. I just don't agree with that. From when the love is completely gone and you're in separate rooms and all that kind of shit, and you're living 2 separate lives, then obviously it's done it. But I do rate the fact that they're happy to go through trials and tribulations. Too many people, and even just in relationships, not necessarily marriage. As soon as there's troubled times, they bounce. It's over. Like a friend the other day told me the other day, yeah, man, my missus stressed me out. He just said to you, my missus stressed me out. I'm out, and he's out.
He's gone.
Yeah, no, I think now. Sorry, Greg. I think nowadays the stickability, for want of a better word, is
making up words.
yeah,
Making up
fuck
words.
it, I'm just gonna make up a word. Do you know what I mean? People didn't stick at things as much now. But then, like I said, I don't know, how detrimental is that to a person staying in a relationship where you are not happy and you know you wouldn't be with this person, other for the fact that you just don't want to look a certain way to people outside.
I need to
try and take.
But then is that not people going in this marriage too easily?
Man, just ignore.
I don't always get that.
Listen, no.
Now you know what it is. I'm losing comments on this thing, man.
but
Yeah, so let me try and get to some, man. Shout out to Carleen. Shout out to Selena as well, who shared the post. I really appreciate that. See, Carleen has she put a comment. It's just disappearing on my thing, man.
Guys, if you can share the post, please make sure you share the post.
Yeah, Daisy has said like these people are talking in the stream. They're basically saying how they're married and everything. But once I fix up my thing, I'll come back to you. I'm sorry, guys. Continue, Rates. Yeah, somebody just wanted to interrupt.
Sorry.
Threw me right off.
What I say on the back of Darren's comment is that they're coming out of the relationship too easily. The moment trouble hits and they're like, okay, I might as well bounce. But have they not gone into the marriage too early, too quickly, not knowing the person properly? So they don't realize that, you know, something that they're thinking, you know, me and this person are never gonna be cool.
Not necessarily. People change.
But I think,
but for me,
I think
that a lot of, in these older generations, a lot of the women, they stop through thick and thin without communicating. Now, if they maybe had communicated, maybe they wouldn't have been in this situation. And a lot of the problems were those old men there were stubborn in their ways. They were stubborn in their ways, and it was their way or the highway. Yeah, and I think that is part of the problem with that era.
Women didn't have as much say back in that day. So the whole communication thing, I don't particularly know if that would have worked, because I reckon a lot of men would have kind of just dismissed where that woman was coming from. You know what I mean? And those women's feelings. But I think there's numerous factors as to why a marriage doesn't work. However, I do think people are nowadays too quick to use those factors and say, oh, you know what, I'm done. Do you know what I mean? Like, get to a point where you 100% know that you cannot take anymore, and that person, because it's got to be a mutual thing. It can't just be, oh, you know what, I'm up and leaving. Like, work at your relationship, and if the both of you come to or marriage, sorry, and if both of you come to the conclusion that it can't work, then separate. But don't just be like, my missus is stressing me out. You just had a baby. My missus is stressing me out. I'm done.
Yeah, that's
bullshit. People need to know, and this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not all up for the Henry VIII business and killing off people and all that stuff here. But know what you're getting is the marriage thing is not no joke, innit?
Exactly.
Like, let's not just
When
like
Henry VIII
didn't he kill off the is it kill off the wife for divorce or something? I know the history, yeah. But whatever. I thought he killed off the wives as divorce, yeah. Is that true? Or did he just kill them? Whatever.
He doubled them.
Yeah, but my thing was this, yeah, don't get into marriage when you're not serious about being with that person for the rest of your life. It is a massive, massive commitment. I don't think you should be allowed to marry twice. I think make the commitment once, innit? So you know, you'll find that people don't get married so quickly when you know that it's one time.
It's a question.
Because you lose your partner.
Because in like
that's different.
When you said that, hold on, exactly. Because there's always mitigating circumstances, isn't it? Because when you said that to me, I was thinking, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But when I'm thinking about it, no, it doesn't sound like a good idea. Because, like I said, you can get to a place in your marriage where the both of you realise, you know what, we've tried everything, we've done everything we can do to try and make this situation work, but it's just not working. Let's just, if you've got children, say we're going to co-parent, or we're just going to be friends, or we're going to, you know what I mean? But instead of hating each other and sticking in this marriage and just tearing each other's eyes out, let's just part ways. And then those two people go and find respective partners elsewhere. They can't get married.
I kind of see what Craig's saying.
No, you can't get married.
I feel what Craig is saying.
To get divorced, you can't remarry.
Have a lifelong relationship.
That's it.
Yeah, and Craig is saying, that you can never
lost your credibility.
The only time that you should be able to remarry
is if you've lost your partner.
If you've lost your partner.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I can't get with that.
Once you're divorced, I think that's it.
You've had your job.
You've had that job.
I'm with you.
Right, so Daisy is saying in the stream, people should not get married if they're not serious. And she said communication is the key.
I agree with that.
100%.
But that's
100%.
It's not different.
Right, shout out to Carleen and Daisy. I think they're celebrating, I think it was 8 and 10 years plus relationship, marriages, excuse me. Yeah, we applaud that. I'm losing comments, so I'm going to kind of read them out as they come through, alright? So, yeah, you guys, rate. When I start talking, okay, you're gonna have to wait for me, alright? But yeah, I personally think that in today's, and this is what we're talking about, it's almost like it's generational, because you look at the women and men who are 30 plus and single, and the rates, you can probably correct me for. I hate picking you because you're single. I hate it, but it is what it is. But it's like, would you now enter a relationship if there was no potential of either lifelong partner or marriage? Do you understand what I mean? Like, what's the point? Right. So my thing is that, so when people are now meeting people at this day and age, your cut-off point for people is kind of going to be different than when you was younger. Do you understand what I mean? Sometimes if you're younger, you can kind of get into something, see where it goes and stuff like that. But it's like now you ain't got no time to waste.
I ain't got time for that.
Right. So you know, sometimes you got to kiss a few. Hold on. You got to kiss a few frogs to find the.
I think
whatever it is, the princess or whatever it is. Princess. How do you kind of go about it at this day? Because me being on the dating scene now, that would scare me to start dating and stuff like that with the potential of looking for marriage. Because ultimately, lifelong companionship is the goal.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
And don't get me wrong, it is a whole different mentality entering, a relationship. Trying to see someone where your objectives are totally different to what I've generally been used to. Obviously, like you said, that I would have usually gone into things just like, see how it goes. But
let me read this one very quickly before I lose it. Samira has just said, my parents are now going through a divorce after 33 years, and I would never have thought they would. My mum tells me she said in this for the stability of me and my sister until we found our feet in life. My dad went to work in Dubai for 7 years. I think that was the start of the problem. They must have grown apart. He came back 3 years ago, but it's never been the same. On top of that, I'm planning a wedding, and I've lost your comment. I don't know what you said at the end there. Shout out to you. I can't even. It won't allow me to.
You need to be smaller, bro.
Nah, bro. It won't let me scroll down, man.
You see, now this is what I'm saying. So that woman has gone through years of being in a relationship where she's basically done it for her children. It's not a relationship she wanted to be in, but she stuck it out for years and years and years. Yeah, the children are now at a point where they can go and live their life.
And I get that.
So that woman should now be able to say, all right, you know what, I'm going to do what makes me happy. Because obviously, no one can accuse her.
And you can see where that's
not
going
trying.
What's that in terms of the 33-year thing?
Yeah, you can see where that's going.
No one. Hold on one second. No one can accuse her. Hold on one second.
Let me speak.
It's gone away for 7 years.
Hold on one second.
But suppose.
You gotta let her speak. I don't know what's
Something to me.
No respect, bro. No respect, no rules. That's your slogan, isn't it?
Excuse me, can Darren speak, please? These people.
No, but what I'm saying is that no one can accuse her of not trying. She's tried for years and years and years and years. So therefore, she should now be able to go on and to live her life, divorce, and find another man. And if she finds another man,
no marriage.
and be happy. Why?
No marriage.
But why though?
Because you had your
you're
chance
not giving me a valid reason.
If you love someone, should you not be able to give them that
You had one token, bro. That's how it should be.
So what you're saying is you can't love twice.
I'm not saying you can't
I'm
love
saying
twice.
you can be with that person for the rest of your life if you want to, but I don't think you better get married. I don't think the person should be able to say, yeah, well, I've had 4 marriages. I don't think you should be able to say
And the
that.
church should start rejecting people for a start as well.
I'm sorry, I
Like,
think it should be
you
one
stand
thing
up there and
after
say till death do us part. Bullshit.
And then, yeah, man.
Cool.
So wait a minute.
But there's no guarantee.
Wait a minute.
Is there?
Bruv, you make that work.
Sorry. I've tried all I can to keep my wife. She at the end of the day she just doesn't have it. She bounces. So I can't get married.
You don't need marriage to be happy, do you?
Do
you need marriage to be happy?
You know what?
No, but why shouldn't
listen
I
to that.
have
That's
it? Why
actually a
shouldn't
good
I have
point
it?
because one person
I haven't done
could mess
anything
something
wrong.
up. But you know what? More for you because you should have been more selective about the person that you
that's
got married to.
That's
Yeah? That's what it is.
That's
Wow.
bollocks.
It's not.
But
That's
are you
not
agreeing
bollocks.
with that? Are you agreeing with that? Are you agreeing with that? Because a minute ago you said, but people change.
No, I think one token for me, yeah? One token is what I'm saying, yeah? I think that you don't need marriage to be happy at the end of the day, yeah? So therefore, be comfortable and happy.
So your wife tears up your token and that's it, you're fucked.
I've got to agree with Greg. Unfortunately, you should have picked better.
Alright,
It's like
so-
picking the mother of your child. You pick better, innit?
So alright, so kind of taking the discussion a bit elsewhere. Based on what you just said, yeah, you don't need marriage to be happy.
No, you don't.
Now, I agree with that. I agree with that because I think you can live a life with a partner, and you know what? If you've got children and you've got a mortgage together, you might as well be married. In my opinion, in my opinion.
But don't you
Now-
think sorry, I'm gonna go off. Go on. I was gonna say, don't you think if you're gonna have that commitment to be with someone, to have children and buy houses and all those dope stuff, don't you think one or the other is getting shortchanged by not being married? Because there's not that ultimate commitment. Everyone said you might as well be married, but you're not.
It does make. Let's be honest. Being married makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because there are many times I've had trial and tribulation, and if I wasn't married, I like bounced. It's just easy to just walk off. But when you're married, you stick through it. You think to yourself, it's not easy. You can't just do that. You got to hang around.
I don't know if I agree with that. I'm not married, so I'm like, obviously,
Makes a huge difference.
You can say the difference, but for me, from the person that I am, I don't think personally, if I had a ring on my finger, it's gonna make me. It's gonna make me
a lot more
try.
It makes my commitment a lot more.
I agree.
It makes my commitment.
I've got children with this woman. Me and this woman been together for how many years? Like, I see myself as married, innit? I see.
You
myself
can see it. You like, at the end of the day, you
No,
can
it's
bounce.
not
Yeah, you can bounce. Like for me,
But he can't bounce at any time. That's
Of course he can.
No, he can't.
So what's stopping him?
The commitment that he's made to his partner, the commitment he's made to his children.
But he can.
Without
Any anybody said anything to him, he can walk.
Yes,
But
technically. But what I'm saying
That's
is,
the marriage.
That's factual.
He can move.
Right,
He
that's
can
factual.
move out.
I
He
can
can
bounce.
move on.
Right, but what
He
I'm
can
saying-
meet somebody and get married for the first time. And it's gone. There's no commitment. There's nothing for you to get out of to go and get something new.
But
It's
all it-
you
different.
are making
all it
it sound
is-
like
all
he
it
can
is
bounce
is
like
red
it's
tape.
nothing.
That's all
It's
it
not
is.
saying it's nothing, Rick. We're saying being married is an extra commitment. It is.
Yeah, but it is an extra commitment, definitely.
piece of paper.
But it's just all it is.
Not
It's
saying
just
that
red
either, but
tape.
it is.
It's red tape. That's all it is. It's red tape.
Let me read that this comment. Shout out to Junior. Right, he said, you gents think it's better to get married when the relationship is fresh and real good, no matter the time scale, or when you have done a lot of years together through tough times.
Tough times, bro.
I would go through the tough
When,
times.
when you've been through everything and you know what your partner
Yeah.
is made of,
You need to see
then
them.
you know.
I'm being real, yeah. You need to see the ugliest and worst side of your partner. Forget the good shit. That's nice. That's brilliant. That's pretty. Woo, fantastic. But you need to see the real.
And
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
why I don't understand people that get married who don't live together and then get married straight away. It doesn't make sense to me. Because you haven't seen that person.
It's foolish.
That's the we done a previous show about that.
It's
innit?
foolishness.
It's
I
not-
gotta
it's not
agree.
real
You
relationship.
don't know the
but-
person.
You
but
could
to-
not marry someone you ain't lived with.
Let me just read a couple of comments before I lose them.
Yeah, go on.
Right, Simone has said, I'm all for taking marriage serious and not bouncing at the first mishap, but Craig and Pan African, you're chatting rubbish, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I don't know why I read out that
Big up,
comment
Simone.
there.
Thank you, Simone.
Nah, big up Simone still. Right, Michelle has said, my dad's been married 3 times and now engaged for the 4th time. And if I'm being honest with you, he isn't a role model. I don't respect how he looks at marriage. Neither do I.
I'm sorry.
I'll be honest, neither do I, because
4 times. You've
4
been at
times.
the guys.
But hold on, no, these two are cool. He's still searching.
No.
How many chances?
Why is it no?
Listen. Let me finish. I'm gonna answer you.
Four's a problem.
What I'm going to say, there are always going to be some people who are just obviously not looking at things the right way. Innit? So that person, no disrespect to whoever that is, yeah. If that person's married 4 times, then there's a problem with him in it. In my opinion, there's a problem with him. Now, if that's different to somebody being in a marriage and giving it their all, and it genuinely just doesn't work out. You lot are basically penalising that person because it just doesn't work out.
It's not.
You are.
It's. I can say.
You're
Right,
penalising.
this is how I should. This is how I look at marriage, and this is the way I don't know. I'm going to try and put it into an analogy. It should be like virginity. You've done it. You've lost it. You can have a relationship. You can have sex. You can have sex again. But you can't lose that. You know what I'm saying? You can't get back that virginity, that pureness.
That's a brilliant analogy.
That's the only way I can kind of put it.
I
And
think
once
Dan
it's gone,
likes
it's
it.
gone.
I do like it.
Have a relationship, but
like
you can't get married. Why are you pushing marriage and you've had that already? Like,
Because-
you've made that
because
commitment
if
to
that
someone
person-
already.
And you didn't stick
And
through.
you didn't stick it through.
No, but-
if I was the
no,
person,
no.
I'm not married to someone who's been married already. Hell no.
But the thing about it is, bro.
Damage goods.
Suppose.
Sorry. As an out the window comment. You know what it is? I got verbal.
Man's wilding,
Wow.
blood.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean that. Carry on.
Like Simone said, you lot are trying shit.
And that's it. You're just going to put a full stop with it.
You lot are trying shit.
Right.
I don't mind.
Right, let me say what Charlene says. She said, marriage ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? Guys, Charlene, marriage ain't no joke. If I'm in it, I'm staying in it. Hard times and mess. Charlene,
Yes.
if you ain't married, you're going to make somebody a great wife, and you're going to be, that's the only marriage she's going to have. I can tell all that from that comment.
Okay, Charlene, suppose your man goes and has sex with your best friend and breeds her and gets her pregnant. You're still gonna stay in a relationship then?
I think you was about to back it.
Huh?
I think you was about to say no.
You're still gonna stay in that relationship then?
What she's gonna do?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
We're gonna wait.
She's gonna sit him down and she's gonna have to speak to him. They're gonna have to try and thrash this
Oh,
out.
is that what you would do?
You know what I mean?
Is that what you would
You have
do?
to thrash the problem out.
Okay.
You have
Is
to
that what
thrash
you
the
would do?
problem out.
Is that what you would do?
We asked the question about the woman.
Your wife has just been breeded by your brother.
But this is what I'm trying to say, yeah. I get that.
You're gonna sit down and
No, I get this, and this is what I'm trying to say. If it comes to it, I'm not saying divorce is banned. I'm not saying that because the answer to that should be, well, I'll get a divorce. Yes, I get that she's saying she wants to stay through hard times and mess. You took it to the way extreme. But I just think that Charlene, if your man did all that to you, then you know your marriage rights are gone. I don't think you should be able to get married again. That's the reason why I'm saying about staying together for a long time, knowing the person inside and out, so you know what you're getting into bed
But
with.
people like Dwayne said, people change. The man she married wasn't that guy, but 10 years later,
Leave him. You're not listening. Leave him.
but you can't get married again.
Yes. Has that, bro?
So how is that her fault?
I'm not saying it's
I'm not
her
saying it's
fault.
her fault.
Right, but you're like Darren said, you're punishing her.
It's not being punished. You still get a relationship.
And what you would see here is it will be quality over quantity. So I don't think you'll see so many. If my rules are in place, you won't see so many marriages because people are going to be very, very. Oh, hold on a minute.
I do agree
You
with that.
understand what I mean?
I do agree with that.
And you'll see more staying together.
Definitely. But then I also think you would see better quality control if you were to limit people to say 2 marriages, as opposed to saying you can only get married once.
No, but you can't have one life,
I
man.
like what she says there.
Alright, hold on. Right, T Gaming 420. It all depends on the individual at the end of the day, ain't it? No?
What in
I
regards
don't
to
know. I think our YouTube one is slightly behind as well. But let me see what Reen's saying. Reen shouted out Rakes, obviously. That's a big Rakes fan, guys. Yeah. What do you think of his hi talk? Talk to us.
I don't really think that's on topic.
Nah. Well, honestly, like, when it's a hair subject, isn't it? I ain't got none, so I'm gonna focus on no homo. What you man are doing? Like, Dwayne's, you know,
Yeah, let's talk about
doing
this.
his thing, isn't it? The roll thing.
That's not the roll thing. I'm locking up.
What's this the beginning of?
It's a gel twist thing.
Locks.
Doing it the gel twist way. Anyway, let me get back to Reef. There's no talking when it comes to infidelity. Hear me out. There's no talking when it comes to infidelity. Sorry, that's a wrap for me, especially when a child comes into the scenario.
Right, kid makes it hard. I'm not gonna lie.
And that's what I'm saying. So
he
then
makes
if
it mad.
that situation occurs, no one in their right mind can say, you know what, that woman shouldn't divorce, and then if she finds love, like true love again, or you can't get married, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Right, surprise, surprise, Green likes rakes his hair. Let's move on. Right. Samira said, do you guys agree that around every 5 years a person... Oh, this is interesting. Do you guys agree that around every 5 years a person changes and maybe what you thought you loved ain't what you love anymore? It's possible that you could be married and then that person changes and then what do you do? Stay with that person you're falling out of love with?
I don't think it's every 5 years.
Got finished comment. What? You man are sharp. 2018. Right. Let me just start from that bit. It's possible. It's possible that you could be married and that person changes, and then what do you do? Stay with that person you're falling out of love with, or do you break up at home and affect your kids' life?
You communicate with that person.
Great comment, by the way.
You communicate with that person and you try to, adjust into what is becoming. But I don't think it's every 5 years. But I do think that happens. So there are ways of changing.
I would say that there are definitely periods, and I think that's just with people and maturity period.
That's just
but the whole idea of marriage is to grow. And if you don't even to say grow together, yes, grow together because you're gonna have your own individual ways, but you have to that union has to be strong. Do you understand what I mean? Regardless of where someone's going, do you know what I'm saying? It's got to be strong. To answer that question though. You're someone you're falling out of love with. That's a mad.
But right. So when you can't just fall out of love with it. It's gonna happen in stages. So you at some point you've got to communicate and speak to your person.
This guy's saying exactly what I'm saying. So basically, it's about being proactive and not reactive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Can't wait for that happen.
You saying break up the thing before?
No, you speak.
Nah.
You can when there's something.
Communication
When
on
you
the
start feeling in a certain way, you have to speak to your wife. You don't wait till you to fall out of love and then start to do it. It's too late now. You're falling out of love. So you address that problem. When you start to feel any kind of changes, you address the issue then.
And if you only notice the change in your partner, like when it's too late,
I mean, you weren't paying attention.
Then you weren't paying attention. You got to ask yourself questions.
Michelle just read a comment there. She said basically, I've lost it now, but it said something on the lines of no one actually goes into marriage with the intention of getting married multiple times.
No, however, they do go into marriage thinking there's an escape route.
And I don't agree with that.
I don't think so.
You have to understand.
You don't think that the people going into marriage knowing there's an escape route?
Everybody knows there's divorce. Everybody knows.
No,
there's
right, so
divorce.
they're not worried about having to get married. They go into the marriage knowing it's hard to get married.
Don't get me wrong. Not everyone does.
People get married and then inside of a year they divorce.
I mean, CJ Turner,
talk to me.
In a working marriage, you grow together. Is
Yes,
he said.
I agree with that.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, people go in married and then you divorce inside of a year. Like, talk to me. How do you get divorced inside of a year?
But that's the
You ain't
people
done
that
nothing,
that's
bro.
the people that
You
were
fucked up.
more obsessed with getting married than who they were getting married.
And that's
to.
again, as we the topic is, that's
Oh,
not a
so
problem. Like people do things like get engaged just to shut the wife up or the partner up because now she's got a ring. She's not going to be hampering her about getting married anymore. So that keeps her quiet for the next 6 years.
But what I'm saying is, I disagree in terms of I don't think people go into it knowing that or thinking, oh, there's an escape route. Like I said, everybody knows you can get divorced. I think what it is that it's people's personalities and how people view marriage, innit? Some people view marriage as a lifelong thing, regardless, yeah? Like you man are saying, innit? Yeah? Some people just think, I'm going into marriage, I love this person, blah, 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 and not actually thinking about the hardship that can come with marriage. Do you know what I mean? And so, I don't necessarily think they go in and thinking, yeah, well, if it doesn't work, I'm just going to divorce.
I think people look at it as marriage today is commitment, showing commitment to this person at this time, and like you say, not thinking about the longevity. So you're trying to prove to your woman, yes, you know what, I'm serious about you. This is what I want. Let's get married. When really, that's not. There had to be a whole lot more thought process into it, and looking into the, you can't see the future, but kind of thinking about the future and where you want to be in 20 years, 30 years, rather than just showing commitment for today.
Yeah, I find speaking to people who are married now, especially like I'm talking about guys now, I think a lot of guys do it as status, like their wife wants it for one, or two,
Pressure.
or two.
Never.
It makes
I
them feel
wouldn't
like
direct that just at guys though.
no, not just.
never
But
ever
I
get
am
married
talking
for
about
pressure.
just guys.
No, but it's the
guys
women that
that
apply the
speak.
pressure, and the guys that are doing it.
Yeah.
I don't.
How often do you
it-
see a woman that say, "Oh, you get married to me"? That doesn't happen too often.
What, just for a woman to say you get married?
I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen too often.
I think it
What?
does.
What's that again?
Women drop. You think these women don't drop them hints, bruv?
I didn't say dropping hints. I'm saying get on their knees.
Yeah, but it's them blatant hints.
dude,
like,
They apply the pressure, then, innit? That's my point. They're applying the pressure. It's the men that are doing it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 it's going to be the woman that really wants the marriage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
really wants.
And some men
You know what I mean?
fall under that pressure, buckle under it, and they engage. And then they might get married, but it's too
But
soon.
yeah, there's definitely peer pressure that goes with it as well, and I think that there's society pressure, for example. And I'm not trying to put this on you for the scenario, but when you've had kids with somebody, you've been with somebody a long time, it's almost like, well, the next step, innit? What else have you got left to do? And you're living together. Then the next step is when you're gonna marry the woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
It's almost like,
that's for people.
and I'm
who
sure
succumb to
that
pressure.
women are kind of tuned in, like, yeah. And listen, when am I gonna get married? You know what I'm saying? So whether that's actual pressure that's been said or not, and obviously
It usually
It's-
is. So usually women in
Nan's
those
the one
relationships
normally, but
Listen,
have got their mums and their friends talking about, oh, so it's like,
Listen, let me
when's
tell
it
you.
happening? When's it happening?
Women are Jedi's blood at putting on that pressure. But as a man, you have to know that it's your duty to do it when you're ready and not when the woman's ready. Do you know what I mean? Because then you're just doing yourself a disservice and you're doing your potential wife.
But
Women
let me just give that a comment. How can I say this? So just look at, I'm trying to come out of your scenario, but it's you talking.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
understand
I don't
what I mean?
mind, I don't mind.
All right, so you say when you're ready, you've had kids, you're together, you're committed for the rest of your life. When are you going to be ready for?
Okay, cool. So here it goes.
apply the pressure.
So with no, that's cool. With me, I didn't think marriage was. I wasn't really like, I need to get married, blah blah blah. My parents were together for a very long time, didn't get married. So I think that's kind of why why I looked at it like that. So yeah, but like my missus from day dot, I knew she wanted to get married. I knew that was part of the plan for her, because it's one of them things that I think a lot of women from knee high, princess, marriage, big day, blah 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 blah. But for a very long time, I was like, no, I'm not really interested. And then obviously we got into the relationship, and obviously my love for her grew and blah blah blah. And then I started to feel like, yeah, right, now do you know what? I can see that happening for me. Do you know what I mean? And she was still applying the pressure. And I was like, no, I ain't proposing. It's not. I'm gonna do it when I'm ready. And I did it when I was ready.
You know what? I can. In my immature days, I always said like I'm never gonna get married, or I'm gonna have one of them engagements that's last 10 years.
10 years.
I said that.
10 years. I remember Chris saying 10 years.
Honest truth, it'd be like 10 years, like, because I just want to keep her happy. But you know, the whole marriage thing, and you know what it was? It wasn't even the commitment of marriage. It was more that day that I feared more than anything else. Funny enough, like to me, if I'm gonna be committed and spend the rest of my life with someone, then I'm not phased by marriage because, you know, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life.
I thought
kids coming into our union made a massive difference.
So
and I think that's a big
and
thing.
that's the reason. A very good point, because for me, like I said, I see the fact that I'm with this person and I've got children with this person is much more of a commitment than marriage, in my opinion. So as I grew up and I was looking and I was thinking, I was observing, I was thinking, but I'm already in a marriage, like. So
it is just certificate.
You have no other lifelong bond that other than children.
But you know what it is? It's such a fine line though, because
marriage is once that paper's torn up, you have no lifelong bond with that person anymore. Children, that's forever.
And I get that. But you know what it is? It's like the way we're talking about marriage as well. It's nuts, because I imagine women out there who want these guys to be like, I've got this burning desire to be with you for the rest of my life, and I'm gonna throw roses off the balcony. You know what I'm saying? All that.
Well, why can't we do that?
But my thing is, I'm not saying that. But it's almost like we're saying at the moment, like, oh, well, you know what? I might as well get married. Do you understand what I mean? It's not like anyone seems like.
No, but it's not a dream of. It was never a dream of mine to get married.
Exactly.
Like I said, children made a
Mine
huge.
became a dream.
No, it didn't become a dream for me.
It wasn't always like that. Real
What do you
talk.
mean it became a dream?
I wanted to get married more than my wife wanted to get married.
So I don't know if I wanted to get more. I don't know about that.
So you applied the pressure.
Apply the pressure, fam.
For me, my children came in, and I started looking at things broadly about having everything together, all of us sharing the same surname, all of that all came in, and that's what really got us over the edge. I mean, because none of us, me or my wife, were interested in marriage. It's just the children made a huge difference and pushed us in that direction.
Right, let me read out a few comments. Shout out to everyone who's commenting and people who've shared as well, man. Really, really appreciate that. Right, CJ said, yeah, working in period. They just said, I agree with Michelle. I think Michelle's comment was about getting married multiple times. They just said, when you get married, your mindset should be, this is my partner for life. Agreed. Oh, you get a thumbs up.
But shouldn't that be your mindset going into any relationship?
No.
Or a relationship?
Potential.
A relationship, sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
but
you're looking at a relationship, not like
no,
because when you're going into a relationship, you don't know exactly. You don't know the person inside and out. So when you start a relationship, you're learning about that person.
Yes,
Right,
listen. Cardi said, "Look, if you get married for them reason, then it won't work." What reason was you talking about? Sorry, I lost a few comments, but I think I'm back. Charlene said, I really think why people fall out of love because you stop talking and connecting. So again, communication.
Many factors, man. There's so many factors.
CJ has said maybe polygamy would improve the divorce rate. What's polygamy? I'll be real, I don't know.
Multiple.
It sounded so dope.
It's not polygamy.
What about I said it wrong?
It's polygamy.
Yeah. You knew what I said, bro.
So
you know, it's like no one told me what it means yet.
I just told you, I think it's more being able to have more women.
Obviously.
And I thought maybe they just spelled it wrong.
I think that person's got a point, because I don't know the stats, but I would like to know the stats. Like in places where they do have men who are allowed to have more than one wife, some parts of Africa, some parts of the Middle East.
No,
I don't
no,
think. Hold on one second. Let me finish. I don't think the divorce rate would be anywhere as high as over here.
I gotta agree.
So is there any correlation?
I agree. I probably believe. I don't know because I ain't seen the stats. However, I would probably think that'll be about right. However, the stress levels must be crazy.
No, bro, because they know. The women know.
No, I'm talking about. But having to deal with one woman is hard enough.
Listen, how can you expect divorce rates to go up? Yeah, if you've got a woman that is happy with you having multiple wives, then there's no divorce rates, is there? What you get divorced for? You fucking someone else. Oh well. What you get divorced for? Like,
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. That's what
all marriages don't break up because of cheating. There are many other reasons. So
listen, yeah. In my opinion, you know, no disrespect to people that have that lifestyle, but if you've got multiple wives, yeah, you've got, in my opinion, you've got wives with no backbone. Now, you got wives.
You
can't say that, Ray.
That's their culture, bro.
No, you can't say that, Ray.
You can't say that.
Let me get to a few comments, please.
If you were brought up like that, you cannot say that.
You can't. Your feelings must be dead when your partner is with constantly with other wives.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Shout out to Shanti. Yeah. More than one spouse. I think she was trying to say what it means. Yeah. Whatever.
We knew that.
Anyway,
got this.
Samira said, "What do you guys think of prenup?" Oh,
Yeah.
look at the way. Breathe. Is it cool as a man to say to your future wife that we should sign this? So what I have is mine if we divorce, and what is yours if we divorce. Then say after 30 years, the wife raises the kids, runs the home, sacrifices her career for yours. Then the man divorces the wife, and she's left with nothing. Where do you guys sit with it? Shout out to Smith.
It depends.
Can I drop
Depends.
For me, yeah, that's a very, very tough situation because almost if you got a prenup, yeah, it's almost like you're saying, well, what if? Kind of thing. It's a horrible thing. However, I think I think that you should go and come out of the relationship with what you went in with. I don't think you should go into a relationship and take half of my shit. If you built shit together, then by all means, take half of that shit. But if you went into a relationship with nothing, yeah, and my man was a millionaire, then you shouldn't come out of that as a millionaire.
Yeah.
And I think you as a person shouldn't even be trying to come out as a millionaire. I think it's bloody wrong.
Right, sorry. Can I say one thing? Well, technically,
man.
If you went into the marriage with everything that you went in with, yeah, you should then when you come out, you should be able to get married again.
So again.
Technically. Technically, if you go into marriage with if you come out the marriage,
hold on.
If you come out the marriage with everything that you went in with, technically, when you leave that marriage, you're supposed to be able to get married.
Get out of there with that.
Jedi.
My whole thing. Let me just make. I didn't know what you said.
I still got my token.
Let me help you one.
I give you my money and give you my token.
Because I have said, well, with regards to money, you should be able to come back out of a situation where you got in. He's saying, well, you should be able to get married again then. How's that even relevant?
I don't understand how that.
Because what you're saying is
It's linking the two.
It's foolishness.
That's what he's doing.
it's not.
Let me tell you what my thing is. Yeah, in terms of how I sit with it, I think I'm quite consistent. I think if you're going into a marriage and you want a prenup, it's a fake marriage. Yeah, it's fake because you're setting yourself already to come out of that. And the reason why I say fake because you're not giving that commitment. You need to come to some next level. You know, like you get gold, silver, bronze, silver, gold. You're at the silver level with the prenup business.
Disagree.
Yeah, the gold is the real marriage.
Disagree.
My thing is, don't get married. If you need a prenup, you need a prenup because you don't trust that person. Don't get married.
But like I said,
don't get
Darren,
married.
a prenup is rude, bro.
It's that.
Disagree.
It's that insurance policy.
It's that mindset of the possibility of it.
But I do think your partner should be thinking, you know, we're not having a prenup. However,
if I come into a marriage and I've got 10 million and you've got, not you, but a girl's got £50 in her bank, yeah?
You think you should leave with 5 mil?
No, I'm saying to you, listen, I'm coming into the relationship with this, you're coming into a relationship with this. whatever we make together as a couple
Yes.
in this marriage,
But that's not what happens.
we keep and we split equally.
But that's not
But
what
what I'm coming into the relationship with, I keep. So therefore, I don't think what you're saying is correct, because I don't think you're saying it's fake.
It's
not
an
fake.
insurance
It's an insurance
policy.
policy. You have to
You know,
accept
fake
that.
is harsh, but it's an insurance
It's
policy.
an insurance policy, and I
Because
feel
you
that
feel
you
that
just.
you might end up married. That
I
might
think
end
you
up-
should be.
course it's an
I
insurance
think if I
policy.
picked a woman, I don't think I'll have a prenup. However, I think a discussion needs to be around.
What?
A
say what?
discussion shouldn't. No.
Because then you've got that.
Right.
You've
A
got
discussion
that
shouldn't need.
mindset that
Right, let me
it's
finish, bro.
gonna finish.
A discussion shouldn't need to be had here. But the woman that you have picked, a woman that I would pick, I would expect her to want to lead the relationship with what she came in with. Now, when we
That's a good woman.
listen, when we come into a relationship, no, listen what I'm saying. To you. So when we come into a relationship, it's not going to be I'm a millionaire. That's the end of it. We are going to still be building. Yeah. So when we build, what we are now making, you are now part of that.
Yeah.
So when we split, you can get some of that. So I don't think we need a prenup.
Got it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but you
Because-
are saying the same thing. But he's saying he just wants to pay.
I don't,
for
you
it.
can't have prenup. But prenup is a horrible thing to do.
Pretty much just say what Darren said.
It should it basically what you're saying. It should almost be a written rule.
Yeah.
Without it having to
Yeah.
be a prenup. Prenup is. But this is what I'm saying.
horrible
You
to
can't
do.
have. This is what I'm saying. My thing is
I don't agree
you
with
can't have it both ways. Now going into a marriage and a lifelong union with somebody is a risk. You're taking that risk. So therefore, if you take that risk, you have to know.
No, don't agree with that. Do you know why I don't agree with that?
I did.
What don't you agree with?
Do you know why I don't agree?
You can't.
What don't you agree with? Because it is
You just want to disagree with me.
Basically, you're saying it's a risk. It's a risk that you might.
Like, come on,
Do you know what I
man.
mean? But what I'm saying is, yeah, like if you're going into a relationship, yeah, you've got to realize it's not only your point of view, it's a woman's point of view also as well. Now, women see things differently in terms of their time, in terms of their commitment to that relationship, and they see it that, do you know what, they should be remunerated properly. Yeah, so cool, that's fine. But if I'm coming into something and this is what I've earned off my own accord, of my own back, yeah, I expect to come out with that at the end.
So you don't have that woman enough to sacrifice what you potentially sacrifice.
To be honest, when you got money, it's a hard.
That's
It's hard to find a woman.
And this is
For
my
me,
thing.
I'm rubbing shoulders with people
Right.
that got money.
This
I'm not
is
trying to
my
take
thing.
the
Like,
That's
it's like
definitely
if I'm worth 25 million and I love being worth 25 million and I'm not willing to give that
My wife is
up,
gonna be there.
I'm not getting married. It's as simple as that.
That's not the point. That's
Why
not the
you
point.
No, this rub shoulders with
That's
someone
not-
who's
that's
on your
not the
level.
point. That's not the
What I'm
point.
saying, yeah, it's either that or that, but it shows
Right.
about the. I don't want to say it's just the love of money. I do get where you're coming from.
with that, man.
But
What? Rub shoulders with those?
you,
I'm
I'm
a
sorry, if
celebrity,
you're
do
going
they
into a
not?
marriage, you have to be
Celebrity
prepared.
do
You've
what they
got to
want.
be prepared for it.
You think Beyonce dating me?
And you think it's right. All I need is a meeting.
One second,
Go on, G.
because you said it. You said it yourself. You said it's like an insurance policy, bruv. How often do we use our insurance policy for our cars? It's like saying, alright, do you know what?
Yes,
If
because
you-
I'm driving knowing that something could go-
Hold on. It's like saying if you can't be certain that you're gonna drive and not crash, then you shouldn't have a car.
I'm be real. I wouldn't even take out insurance about
If it was legal, if it wasn't legal, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it.
I'll take the chance, bro.
I'm not
I'll
paying
take the chance, bro. You would take the chance. I'm not paying £100 a
I'm
month.
paying insurance regardless of whether it's
Nah,
legal or
sir.
not.
I'll
I'm
take
buying
the chance, bro.
insurance.
So you're like, you treat your women and your cars kind of the same.
Oh, okay.
Let me just read this. Right, Amanda has said, I think the person who posted this question is talking about women that stay at home and raise the kids and take care of business, and the man makes the money. Should that woman leave with no money because he was working and she was taking care of the family?
That's not what we're saying.
No.
We're saying that the person, what you come into the relationship with, that's what you should be able to leave with. Anything you make together, you split equally.
Alright, let me read a couple more. Shout out to T Gaming 420. Meaning, hold on. Meaning everybody's ideology of marriage is different, and when you go through the good, the bad, and the ugly, it can change one's perception of marriage and even the person.
True.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Lady A3721 at Darren. If the man with the 10 mil gave that woman a new lifestyle, then he can't expect her to go back to the £50 lifestyle.
No, because hopefully you've
That's
been
interesting.
No, but you've been
No,
making
I'm not
together,
even dismissing
innit?
that
You've been
comment.
making together.
But you
so
got to understand
she
that,
shouldn't
yeah,
be.
that's what Darren's saying is right. At the end of the day, yes, she's got a new lifestyle, yeah, but from that, I'm pretty sure she's just not chilling.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing things
Oh
together.
shit, shout out to Mary J. Blige's one, the husband.
He's
He
a
built her for
Listen,
everything.
he tried
He
everything
built
in the
her.
book.
Sorry, that just came to me because he was like, wait, you made me accustomed to this lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And you know what it is, yeah? And there's no equality in marriage, because the same way we're talking about, you know, it's good for the men to be able to have 2 wives in certain religions and all that. Can you imagine a woman having 2 husbands? Like, why are you saying this? Not looking at me.
Because I have grown up in a society where it's not acceptable for women to be taking 2 dicks. I'm sorry. That's not that is not on, bro. I don't care which way you want to look at it, that is not on.
Jesus.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay then.
Man, like,
We're talking about marriage here. We're talking about taking dicks.
2 penises.
Wow.
I'm not often speechless. That's a madness.
No, I'm not arguing with you.
Thank you.
Wow. Alright, listen, let me read a couple more. Jesus. Right, when you get sacked from work, you get paid from that day until you get told to leave. You surely won't get a full month's wage. Basically, I think alright, cool, right. I get that one still. Couple more. Right. Carlina said, we spoke about this the other day, and my hubby told me that he don't want it. He said, you're the mother of my child. I'll always make sure you're good.
That's right.
Yeah, but my thing is, I could say, yeah, I'm going to make sure you're good.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, cool. I can
have that heart.
but you might not think that that's good.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That might not be good enough for you because I'm going to provide for my kids. Yeah, cool. You can still go out and do bowling and all that. But yeah, you're not going to live the same lifestyle that we used to in private jets and all that. No, you go bowling. But right, Rena said, I believe each spouse, regardless of who has the most, should ensure that other is comfortable, especially if kids are involved. But I don't agree with the prenup half business. Shout out to me.
Yeah, but
Split, 1 second.
Sorry.
Split what you make in a marriage.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Totally
that's
agree.
That's what we've all been saying.
I'm just saying, listen, don't wrap me on a piece of paper before we get married, because you know what I'm saying. That's
I'm with you. We ain't getting
listen.
married.
I'm a no insurance kind of guy. So that's what that's just what it is.
Told him. You're going into a situation, yeah, where you're about to get married. Your potential missus, yeah, is a multi-millionaire.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not a multi-millionaire.
She's not him.
And she says, I want a prenup. You're saying I'm not getting married.
I say let's not get married. Let's just stay in a relationship and let's do that. I still want to get all this lifestyle that you bring with all your finances.
Right, exactly.
I still want this lifestyle that you bring because that's what our relationship is now. You can't come into like we're 23 mil and then we're going to move.
So basically,
the person on the other end is likely to
I'm saying if she breaks up with me, I don't leave with shit. That's it. I'm out.
You got to understand
I'm
though,
out.
the person on the other end of that, is likely to accept because they want that lifestyle.
Exactly.
But it doesn't make it right, Darren.
No, it does, because why should you come into something and automatically gain and you ain't done nothing?
What makes it worse, I swear the rules are changing. I swear if you're...
I got married to you, bro.
I think if you're with someone 3 years, you're entitled to... Even if you're married or not,
Married
or not, you're entitled to that shit.
There's a lot more details to it than that.
Prenup for a run then, or money's getting saved in the account.
If they can prove that.
The Cayman Islands, yeah?
Offshore.
Let me go to Nina. Nina has said, I do think people are not willing to stick at marriage, but there are certain circumstances where people should end the marriage. I'm 100% with you. 100%.
But you're just saying that they shouldn't be able to get married again?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm very clear on that. very, very clear. Right, Carlina said, I don't want him what's mine is mine, basically. Oh, I told him what's mine is mine. See, them mine business, that's marriage. I think that's
you can't go into marriage with that talk.
Yeah. It's got to go.
No, what she's saying is that if he had something, she's saying what she came in with, what she came with. Okay. She's happy with that.
Okay, yeah.
Reword that, Carlina.
Got that. No, 100%. So what do you guys think now about going overboard for the day, going above your means for the expense of the day?
I know people that want to get married, and really, they're not even engaged or nothing yet, but they want to get married and really excited to get married, but they know they're not in a financial position to do it. I don't think you should be talking about marriage if you're not in that lane yet, unless you're happy to have a registry office that keeps it low key. If you're happy with that, then by all means. But if you want the big day, you have to be ready in that financial lane. I certainly didn't put myself out there.
I think it takes a very strong person or a very strong couple to say, do you know what? No, we're not going to do the whole wedding ceremony thing. We're just going to elope, get married and come back. I think that takes a very strong... Because ultimately, the ceremony is largely for other people.
Yeah, I agree.
I won't say totally, largely for other people.
100%.
I run the guests.
Yeah. The biggest expense of my wedding was feeding you lot. You know what I'm saying? Basically.
You know what I'm saying?
I was your best man.
Yeah, and then well, like, it is what it is, but my thing is, whilst I agree with that to some extent, I still think that every woman who has the aspiration of marriage, I think deserves that day. Yeah, and I say that day where the attention and everything is all about.
But you don't have to spend thousands of pounds
No,
to achieve that.
Yeah, quite possibly, but you still, because you were talking about the eloping and doing all that. Cool, I get that. Maybe you have to be a certain way, but I think that if your focus and your dream was as a young girl or whatever to get married, I think that a woman of that mindset deserves.
And I think that's why it happens. And I think that's what, a lot of the times that's why it happens. A lot of the time that when people get proposed to is because generally it's because the woman wants it. Do you know what I mean? I've thought, because my cousins from day dot, my cousin said to me, do you know what? When I get married, I'm just going abroad, getting married, and I'm coming back. Have a party.
Has she found a partner, or he found a partner?
Yeah, they've been together for years.
Okay,
years and
cool.
years.
Right, 'cause I was thinking you can't be saying that as a single person.
No.
You can't be pre-planning them things then.
But then, because at first I was like, bro, how are you gonna get married and I'm not there? Are you mad? That's stupid.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking about it, like weddings generally now. I think the average cost is between 15 to 20 grand for a wedding. Yeah. Trust me.
I think that was right.
Yeah, it's about 15 to 20 grand for a wedding. Now, bruv, like you could put that towards a deposit for a property. You could, do you know what I mean? There's so many things you could do and make that money work for you. But you're gonna have a ceremony for other people, and you know the fucked up thing about it is, I'm more than likely will do the same thing. Even though I'm saying this right now, I'm more likely to do the same thing because, like you said, I know it's what she will want.
Yeah. That's
I can't be real, bro. You can be family. I don't have to about you.
Listen, let me read a few more comments before we have to wrap this one up, right? Karina has said, what about if it were your daughter? I ain't got to do that, that's not me. Would you advise her to get prenup if she was walking into the marriage with the majority of the capital? I wouldn't advise her not to get married.
I wouldn't give her.
For me, I don't like to put my mouth in. I don't like to put my mouth in people's business. So what I would do is I'll weigh out the pros and the cons for her. You make your decision in it.
Yeah,
and
just
you
be
got to live
smart.
with that.
Just be smart.
I can't be telling them what to do because when shit goes wrong I don't want to be.
I'm not encouraging prenup.
That's nuts.
I'm not doing that.
Right, so Daisy said, yes, D. I've cut my list 2 times. The wedding is about family and close friends. Catering alone is £25 a head. Listen, I see people go out to meals and they don't want to pull out their £25 when it comes to splitting the bill. So I don't see why I should be paying that for your head. I think I paid that.
It must have been something like that.
I got a deal. Anyway, Simona said, I agree. I don't think it's right to have weddings that cost tens of thousands. Such a waste. We got quotes here, and the wedding we wanted was more than the deposit on our house.
It's only a waste, yeah.
Let me finish. Yeah, because she's trying to tell us about her wedding. So we went to Barbados, and had an amazing wedding with 70 of our family and friends. It was incredible. Listen, Simone, I'm sure it was, man. Invite got lost, man. Did you help your friends get out there, or did everyone commit their own capital and finance to get out there and celebrate?
I don't think you should be helping people to get out there.
No.
If they're committed enough to you and helping you and your family, they should be happy to
But
help people enough.
let's just say I'm not in a position. I'm your best friend. Yeah, you know I'm struggling. Listen, clothes are hanging off me because I'm struggling.
Bruh.
But I'm your best friend. You want me out there, so
if I'm in a position to help you, then I can help you. But if I'm not going to.
I think you're obligated. If you're in a position.
If I'm in a position, I
know friendships that have broken down for this sole reason.
Serious?
I would help you
Sole
if I can.
reason.
What, people getting married abroad and not be able to bring
and not being able to make it, and
that's a poor reason
I'm supposed to be wrapping this up. Sorry, guys.
But very quickly, sorry. Fam, have you been to like a African wedding recently?
No.
Not recently.
I want to go
Bro.
to bed one before.
Them weddings are mad.
They make their money back.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But they shell out, and Asian weddings as well. One person I used to work with, oh my gosh.
Yeah, they make
Weddings are
Not
ridiculous.
Caribbean
man.
people. We get irons. How much drink do you think I want to drink? You know what I'm saying?
Don't talk about other people like
I kept them. I've kept them up on one of these when I get there.
I'm not supposed to say that out in the open.
Yeah.
How much glass can I drink out with the Diamante thing on there with Mr. and Mrs.? I can't even offer that to people when it comes to my yacht.
That's from.
So, all jokes aside, I've got to let me try and wrap this up. Right, one more comment and then I'm going to wrap it up. Right, Charlene has said, I think why people mash up their pocket is to show I can do this. If I ever get married, it's going to be simple. Why am I feeding that aunt that never checked for me, Charlene?
Exactly, shout out to
Hey, listen. Hey, she gets thumbs up. Tell you that much.
I wish I could do it twice.
Yeah. Right. Simone said they funded themselves. I ain't Kimye. Marlon didn't come. Cheek. Oh, you got him.
I didn't get no invite though.
Right. On that note, let's take the final thoughts for the show. Right. Starting all the way from my right, Darren. What are you saying?
Yeah, marriage. Standard thing a minute. Make sure you're getting married for the right reasons. Yeah, do your research into a person, man. Vet this person before you think, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna step into a marriage. I disagree with these two crazy ones on the end in terms of we're only getting married once. But if you do adopt that policy, then you won't be far off. You know what I mean? Quality control, like Craig said. So yeah, man, just make sure you choose the right person and be happy.
Yeah, same thing that Darren said. You know, pick the right person. You know, don't jump into marriage. You know, just after 2 minutes of dating. Like, you know, you have to be with this person, live with this person, know their ins and outs. Don't get married for the wrong reason. Don't get married for the wedding day. Like, get married for for life, for longevity, for building a partnership, building a foundation. Jumping into marriage for any old reason because your mum keeps asking you questions or because all your bedrooms have got married. Shit reasons.
Yeah, I can only echo what they said. Relationships are not easy as it is. It doesn't get easier when you get married. So at the end of the day, take the time picking a partner. I don't think people should rush. It isn't something to just jump into. You need to take your time. You need to think about what you're doing. I don't agree. I know there are many of you do it, but I don't agree with jumping into marriages without living with each other or nothing like that. You need to know your partner inside and out in order for that to work. Now, I'm not saying that when you do it that way, it always fails, but it is a big contribution to failing if it does. Also, people that get engaged just because they're under pressure, don't feel like you have to get engaged. Do it in your time. Do not make a woman make you do something that you do not want to do.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. So my thing is I'm going to echo what everyone said. When Darren says that, you know, the vetting process, that includes seeing what this person is like when they're sick and they're mash up. Seeing how they sleep and how they live in a house. You need to look at all of these different things before you even think about it. Because you look at their worst habits and make sure that you can take that shit for the rest of your life. And that's the kind of things, because yeah, you're together because of the good happy times and the lovey-dovey, like all that shit. That's brilliant. But when it gets down to it, can you hand that person when they're down in the dumps, and then they're cussing you out and stuff like that? You got to look at them things there as well. But also, I'm with I think it was Charlene, who, as well, in regards to the getting married thing. Auntie Pearline, who you ain't seen for fucking 15 years, wants to be on the fucking front row. Get your ass in the back, yeah, or don't come and cut down your list.
Just cut them out.
Serious. I say cut it down and do what is manageable and what's going to make you ultimately happy.
You get them brave ones though.
That's what it's about.
You get them brave ones that just turn up, bruv. That didn't but I had one of them where.
That's awkward. That's awkward.
Well, they're gonna get played.
They got played still, but it was nuts.
Yeah, I'm 100% in regards to if you're gonna get married, then know what that commitment is. Yeah, because once you go into marriage, in my opinion, that should be it. I went into my marriage knowing I am never gonna get married again. Like, there is no chance of that. 0%. Is there a chance that something could ultimately happen and break up? I hope not, but you know what I'm saying? Even if that was the case, I am still not getting married because that person I made the lifelong commitment to, and it just wouldn't be the same if I was doing it to somebody else. It just doesn't make any sense to me. The whole insurance policy thing, you know, that's great when it's a German whip, but you're my wife, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't need no paperwork apart from that thing that says, you know, I do, and got my signature in it and says what I do for a living. That's me. You know what I'm saying? But these men, they want their insurance policy.
No. You are the ultimate sweet boy. When I grow up, I want to be just like you.
Listen,
You're a grown ass man.
you just gotta take
You
your
don't,
hair off.
want to go. You don't want to continue now. You don't want to continue now.
Yeah, but
Say it to you.
I don't need no insurance policy when I'm committing to the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. On that note, guys, thank you very much for
I like what you did there, you know.
Everyone who watched the video, please like, share, subscribe to the channel.
Please.
Mainly share this post out, man. We want to get as much people involved as possible. We love the interaction. Glad to be back as well. Happy New Year to you guys, belated.
Catch us in the fortnight.
But yeah, fortnight, we're back, man. Yeah, peace out.
Bless. Yeah.
Oh man.
Still live.
Where we still live? We still live on Insta. Did
Still live.
Insta cut
I
off?
don't know. Insta cuts off after a while, doesn't it?
Does it?
I swear that.
I think it's off.
I think it
an
did.
hour or so.